All right, thank you for staying with us. Now, Nigeria's seventh general election since 1999 will be held in February and March. And of course, major cities in the country are already wearing a new look with posters of different political parties, competing for space and littering the streets. So, but what would the agenda be come 2023? Of course, it's what we sought to find out on the show today. So let's take this background report put together by Francis Obe.
As Nigerians eagerly wait for the formal declaration of Nigeria's political space open for campaigns by candidates flying the flags of the respective political parties, what should Nigerians be looking out for from the various flag bearers?
There are a lot of issues that have been bedeviling the country so far. Issues of poverty, insecurity, low wages for everybody, unemployment. The list is endless. So we should expect political parties to respond, to propose solutions to most of these challenges so that it will be an issue-based campaign. We'll look at them and based on what they tell us and the questions we ask them, we know who has the best, the most feasible solution to the problems. There are some element of morality and modicum that should also follow campaigns. People shouldn't do campaign as if there is no tomorrow. You do not do campaigns as if you are dealing with your enemy. Do campaigns because you think your ideas are the best and not destructive campaigns. When you do propaganda, you promote outright lies, you slander, you say things that very immoral, very indecent, that will not help the cause of democracy.
Political campaigns are synonymous with political and electoral violence in most developing countries. Therefore, there is need for a change of the current do-or-die politics for democracy to thrive so that the citizens can reap the benefit of the globally acceptable system of government.
When Party A is campaigning, Party B is campaigning, and then you have partisanship among those who should spell out the rule, like the police, it becomes a problem that can trigger violence. Then you have youths, untamed youths, deliberately inciting them, Party B talking down Party A, and then seeing somebody as a threat, asking people to go and beat up somebody, or go and pull down big bots. That can steer violence. I also learned that in some states, other parties are not allowed to mount billboards. That can also trigger violence.
The premium on political power in Nigeria is so high that politicians are prone to take the most extreme measures in order to win and maintain political power. How should the issue of vote buying be addressed?
Any politician that brings money at this time, that means he's exploiting the poverty in the land. So the poverty in Nigeria is artificial. People who created poverty know why they created poverty, and they also nurture poverty because that gives them an advantage. If people are relatively well off, they can be able to say no to money when you give them money. But a hungry man, the average man on the street is hungry. It should be a war of ideas, not a war of money. But when you make money the center point of your campaign, one is indicative of your incompetence, you are not being qualified, you are trying to manipulate the system. Give them a bag of rice, you visited somebody you've never visited before, you go to hospital to see people. Where have you been for the past 4 years? We want a system that works.
The advent of the social media has redefined who a journalist is. The exclusive preserved role once held by the gentlemen of the press in news gathering, dissemination and public opinion molding has now been democratized and thrown open to just anybody who possesses a smartphone, laptop as well as internet connection. What role should the media play in the forthcoming campaign season?
Let the mass media, the traditional mass media and the nascent mass media or the social media may be difficult to control, but it still boils down to mass orientation, keep talking to people, let people know that there can be consequences Because I know that's what Nigerians fear most, when they know that there are consequences and the consequences will be enforced. But when there are consequences and you know they will not be enforced, it becomes a problem. So that people will be mindful of what they post on social media. Misinformation. People are so gifted in misinformation.
The coming campaign season is going to be an interesting period for all and sundry. Consequently, all eyes will be on the Independent National Electoral Commission towards the discharge of its duties.
INEC has the capacity to do better because almost everything INEC requested for or is requesting for has been made available to INEC. Let INEC follow the electoral law. That is the expectation. They should not contemplate compromising it in any way.
Our focus for Weekend Deal today will be on agenda setting for 2023 election.
Okay, you will agree with me that there are different elements that must come together in order to have that free, fair, and credible election come 2023 general election. And of course, one of the respondents there talked about some people creating poverty and they know why they created it. Of course, you can use that as a rallying point to, electing the people you think will, free you from that cycle of poverty. And of course, we have joined us in the studio an APC chieftain and also is the Director General Voice of Nigeria, Mr. Osita Okechukwu. You are welcome to our studios.
Good morning, Nigeria.
But before we engage you at the tail end of that story, of course, they talked about the role of the media in the forthcoming general election, but also the preparedness of INEC. I know the INEC boss recently admitted to the fact that, attempts were actually made to, attack their system, hack their system, and from as far as Asia, but their engineers were able, to thwart all efforts made to engage such act, which is quite encouraging because this is one of the issues that Nigerians are quite concerned about. But we get more of your thought after we must have taken this next report on the preparedness of INEC for the forthcoming general election.